right, I'll see you guys. And Alex, I want to welcome you back to F.A.C.E. I'm now making you the presenter. Everyone stick around for Alex. You know he has a lot of fans on Twitter. And there he is. How are you, buddy?
Hi. Thank you for
good.
having me again.
Yeah, well, you definitely, were very interesting, and I like to have guests back and kind of get a feel for their flow. So last time we talked, I think the market was in went into a negative mode, and then we had this blow off. So
Yes.
like your Twitter handle says, I believe you concentrate on the DAX. So tell us what's on your radar here, partner.
Yes, I concentrate on the DAX, that's correct. But I want to recap the last webinar.
Okay.
When we met the last time in February. I was expecting a fall in DAX, yeah? Which actually was wrong.
Great transparency.
Based on my time calculations. But it actually worked in the S&P, in the Dow Jones, or in the US market. It was right here.
Yeah.
February 20th.
Yeah.
After 145 days from the all-time high, we had this nice little decline here.
Right.
Which didn't work in DAX. It was here.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do you explain the overperformance of DAX compared to the Dow? Is it currency?
Mostly currency.
Is it Draghi? What do you think it was?
It is currency and the ECB for sure.
Okay. So the weaker euro is what did it.
It
gave it the outperformance. So it was kind of like nominal outperformance because it went up because their currency was going down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever notice that? Like I remember at the, after the financial crisis, Alex, everything went up together and the dollar went down 30%. And so a lot of the move in the recovery early on, the 30% recovery, most of it was due to the drop in the dollar. Right.
Yep. Okay. Correct.
So if the bears are right about euro, and they're talking targets like, anywhere from 105 to 90, the outperformance of the DAX over U.S. forces should continue. Is that what you're thinking? Or if the dollar turns south, if the euro starts to rally strongly, that would put pressure on the DAX and lift the U.S. Yes. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Tough call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, I was looking for that high from last Friday. Because it was just an open gap, 12,436. I tweeted this on May 1st.
Okay. Okay. So you like to fade gap higher openings?
Yeah.
At times.
DAX is a gap hunter. It doesn't matter how old those gaps are. DAX is simply a gap hunter. He remembers every gap. Yeah.
They're magnets.
Yeah.
Okay. So where's the next gap to be filled with the DAX up here?
Actually, there are many gaps to the downside now.
Yeah, underneath it. Right.
Old ones. But we have that cash closing gap open from last Friday at 12,412 on the short time. So I'm not sure what happens the next 1 or 2 days. I think the overall trend should be down, but I won't rule it out that levels like 12,350 or even 12,400 are being revisited to close the gaps in cash.
Okay. Can you put your cursor on where you think the gap is here so we could see it?
Here. Here.
Okay. So the gap down there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the
From
gap
Friday.
up there. Oh, okay. So this is
Here.
what time frame chart here? The 5 minute? Okay.
5 minutes short.
Okay. All right. So you're a seller if it gets up there.
Yeah. Definitely.
I got it. So here it's kind of a neutral call. It could do either. And you know, when you have a market in a neutral position, what do?
Wait.
Okay, cool. So Tom Petty says waiting is the hardest part.
Yeah, it is.
What do you do while you're waiting, and how do you resist? Let's get into a little bit of trader psychology in your head, because it's very difficult to sit there and do nothing. Yeah. What is your mindset, and what do you tell yourself during those time frames so that you maintain your discipline to do nothing? Do you recall what happened when you forced something or had FOMO, or do you have any expressions that you remind yourself that we're paid to wait? Tell us what's going on in your mind while you sit here and do nothing.
Actually, I'm not sitting here and doing nothing. I will work on my charts.
All right, and not trade. Okay,
Yeah,
so
having like 20 espressi in the meantime.
All right, so yeah,
No,
definitely.
seriously.
Yeah, we're not doing. You know, even when we're not doing anything, you're right. That's a great point. We are doing something because we're taking in more information and price action, and being patient to wait for something that's so compelling that that you would rather be stopped out and then watch it happen without you. A trade like that, right?
What I have learned in the last years is to completely stick to your system, to your trading system, and as you probably know, and everybody knows it by now, I'm trading with the Gann theory, not 100% Gann, but it's a mixture of many things. Fibonacci Gann, the astrological approach, and the historical approach.
Go ahead.
I suggested to wait for the 12,400 something to go big short, which actually happened on Friday, and we got 400 points on the DAX to the downside in 2 days. So it's very natural to wait now. There is no need to overtrade, probably in the opposite direction, and hope for a bounce, recovery, or whatever.
Okay. So that was a great trade. Yeah, that was a great trade. Okay, yeah, I mean, it was huge, you know, huge percentage move in a short period of time. Since you do use Gann and fib time ratios and things like that, could you break out your telescope for us, Alex, and tell us what key time windows you're paying attention to going forward this spring into summer?
Yes, I can do that.
I'm doing this just for my, my trading purposes. I'm a selfish host. So you're part of my intelligence gathering.
Thank you. As I told you last time at the webinar,
the eclipse?
There is one very important part in GAN, and that's the astrological approach. What I'm looking here is for time cycles. It's not only the 144 day or 144 trading day time cycle. It's also very important to watch the phenomenons, the celestial phenomenons, planets, the alignment, etc., etc., the oppositions, the conjunctions, and also the eclipses, lunar eclipses or solar eclipses. So to answer your question, the next important date, as far as the next cycle is concerned, will be July 18.
Okay. Is that a solar or
it's a lunar eclipse?
Lunar. Okay.
I call it correctly.
Okay. Okay. So that's right in the middle of summer. You know, it's after summer begins, and with these kind of time projections that you have, and with an eclipse out there, there's no way. Is there any way for you to know whether it's going to be a high or a low, whether it inverts? So it's just whatever direction the market is heading into that time frame to be alert for reversals. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a turning point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I love those.
That's correct. It's not a given thing if it's a high or a low turning point.
Do you pay attention to the Bradley model at all and know what that's based upon? It's pretty popular.
I used to pay attention to that, but actually I'm not using it any longer.
Okay. All right, because I've noticed they can invert. In fact, the last Bradley date was a pretty good low. I know because I was short into it, and that's when we launched from that low. And you know, it's funny, Alex. I'm sitting there thinking, well, yeah, we have a weekly reversal to the downside. Should I go with the Bradley date or the weekly candle? And my discipline said go with the weekly candle, and I would have been better off going with the Bradley date. Anyway, just a quick story from what happened in, I think it was March. Okay,
but I want
so
to quickly visualize that approach. This is DAX futures, and here in January 2018 we had the all-time high, and actually I'm projecting those GAN fans, and I'm having this time cluster here, July 17, July 18, and
maybe a low.
This is the most important line where time and price is in harmony. We actually hit that line on Friday. I was waiting for. So
cool. So is that a tool on MT4 where you can get fan lines on MT4, right?
I don't think so. It's a tool on MT4.
How do you do it? Do you have software for it?
I calculate it
by hand.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
And then I put it into the chart because I'm a very visual person. Right. I need to see the chart and yeah.
So if we took out that high from last Friday, that would be a very bullish event. Is that your interpretation?
Yes, this is correct.
Okay.
We go above this high. Yeah, the short theory is not correct.
Okay. All right. And what do you need for any more? Oh, okay. So you're looking to sell a rally to 12.4, and that would be lower than the high. So you'd have a pretty tight risk trade back up there.
Actually, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So is the DAX the main thing that you trade? Do you keep an eye on currency or other bourses, or is DAX really to put the whole jigsaw puzzle together?
Yeah, I trade the DAX. My friends say that I'm married to the DAX. It's my wife. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, for sure, I'm having an eye on the currency, and I'm having, for natural reasons, an eye on the US market. Although the DAX and the Dow don't longer run in tandem as they used to for decades. It's interesting. It's like 2 or 3 years, they're completely decoupled.
Wow.
But
how long did it take you to realize that correlation was dead? Because, you know, I've lost a lot of money when correlations that were my friends quit on me. And it happens, you know, they work till they don't. You know, and it's great if you could recognize it early. Did it take some time to recognize something that was traditional, repeating itself over and over again, that it wasn't working anymore?
I recognized it, but it wasn't that important for me, because it would be important if I do the charting on the Dow and trade the DAX, yeah, like dirty trading or dirty hedging.
Right.
So no, I realized it like months later when I was doing my charts and analyzing, and yeah, but
Okay.
This correlation is gone. It's not completely gone, but yeah, DAX is doing its own thing by now.
Can I assume if you're looking for you know, a short here in DAX that the euro will continue to decline and the dollar will continue its advance if that scenario plays out?
It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Because it's the same thing with the currency.
That's disconnected too?
It's connected, but they work as long as it works.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We
So
had times where when DAX and the euro ran completely correlated.
Okay. All right. So another pearl, trade each instrument, even though you know how markets affect each other, like it's its own individual entity.
Yeah,
And you know, because you're not trading the whole board, you're just trading one instrument. So do you have a view on euro?
No.
Okay, understandable.
Actually not. No, I don't trade the euro, so I won't waste my time charting the euro.
Do you chart gold?
No.
All right. What else besides
what is gold? Excuse me. What is gold?
Gold is a paperweight.
Yeah.
That you could put on your desk and be careful not to drop on your foot. But I would say that it has pretty long. I can't get a historical chart on gold that goes back to biblical times. So, but you know, it has been a store of value throughout, with major fluctuations. But I would say that it's something. It's not nothing. You know what that reminded me of, that statement? Back in 2000, people were saying, you know, gold just doesn't work anymore. Okay, that's because it was $200. Okay, it was that people were price sensitive. It's an archaic, barbaric relic. They sure weren't saying that at 1900. Okay, and you know, people are saying now the VIX is broken. It doesn't work anymore. Yeah, so if you're right and we're going down into declines, and even what we saw in the VIX from, you know, where'd we go from 12 to over 20 in a week or so. So I think it's only broken for people that have been shorting volatility that forgot what they went through last year when they blew up their accounts. But I think gold still works, and I think VIX still works. And anytime people declare an instrument dead, makes me very interested in it.
Yeah, VIX works definitely. You said it. Remember the event where the inverse VIX the
Yeah.
ETF,
It's gone.
totally disintegrated. We had to close it.
Right. So yeah, be careful with ETFs on VIX products, definitely. Okay, so do you teach what you know? I'm trying to recall. I know you don't have any kind of business model where you're soliciting the public for anything. Is that correct?
No.
You're just out
Yeah,
there
that's correct.
trading your own account and out there on social media to share your ideas.
Correct.
Are there any people that you're interested in following that are part of your intelligence gathering?
There are so many good traders out there.
Okay.
Whew.
Yeah, you need a list, huh?
That question.
Yeah.
The point is, I'm loving to get inspired by other traders and other Twitter people, but in the last consequence, I'm doing my own thing. It was funny because I was asked today if I could join a meeting of traders in Vienna, and I thought, no, I'm actually not interested in it. I'm doing my own thing, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's another reason, you have no axe to grind. And, I think that's interesting. I have a tool shed full of axes and other instruments in there. So, okay. So basically, what's a line of death?
That's the line of death. Actually, it was from the last remarkable high at the end of April. It was the upper falling again line there.
Okay.
And there was always quite good reaction there. So
go ahead.
In my view, as long as we trade above that line, we can expect some kind of a bounce into the 400 area again, 300, 400 area again, to probably close those open gaps. Because see, this is DAX futures. In futures, we have even a higher open gap at 463. Cash, it's 412. So, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. How did you handle the first break below the line of death and then it getting back inside to the upside in the line? So, as a technician, I use wedge lines, and we have these things called throwovers. Is that similar to when we broke that red line? And how do you know it's only going to be a throwover and not acceleration to the downside? Yeah, you don't know till it isn't, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Best example was yesterday after hours at the end of the US session. That sequence made me think. And then into the DAX futures close, we had this upward formation, and the volume also was pretty good. So I was thinking in a correct way that probably we could open on or at this line today, in this case. And yes, so it's pretty much undecided now. We'll see.
I have a question from one of our attendees, from Luis Pereira. He goes, I use full moon for possible bearish movement and new moon for possible bullish movement. Could you ask Alex whether he thinks that way? So how do you treat new and full moons?
For me, it doesn't make any difference if it's full moon and new moon. I think the most important fact is that the moon cycle is a natural cycle. So in many times, I won't say most of the times, many times, the moon cycle works. But I wouldn't sign that if new moon is bearish or bullish, or full moon is bearish or bullish.
Okay, so it's kind of like your fan line, your Gann timelines,
Yeah,
or
correct.
cycles.
Like 144 days or
Yeah.
eclipses. It's some kind of turning points,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be necessarily high or low.
That's a pearl. Okay, so there's no bullish or bearish interpretation, Louise,
No.
but they could end up being highs or lows. If you see a pattern that gives you a bias, good for you. Okay, he uses it more as time analysis, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Correct.
okay, Alex, anything you want to wrap it up with before I thank you for being here?
Whew. There's so much to say, but I see we ran out of time again.
No, we can hang out if you want.
Actually, what is important for me are the next 24 hours in trading. It might be the case that this week ends in red for the DAX, which would, for me, a continuation of this downtrend. But one has to really watch that gap zone here. This is very much important. But one has to accept if we break below today in 1 or 2 or 3 hours, this gap doesn't have to be closed. Yeah.
Okay.
So go with the trend and don't go against the trend. That's what.
And can you give me that eclipse date again in July?
July 18.
Okay, partner. All right, everybody. Everyone thank Alex, my trading warrior brother, DAX warrior, for his time today. And Alex, you want to show your Twitter feed on screen so people know how to, at the minimum, follow Alex on Twitter. There you go. There he is, and it's at XETRA. Yeah. See, to me, I get confused with extra and zextra. So there's Alex in his last movie called "Will the DAX Be My Friend?" And that's it. That was a pilot episode he shot. So Alex, I hope that DAX pips rain down on you, and really appreciate you being
so
here
much.
And sharing your hard work. You know,
I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, you're very a hardworking technician, and
Yes.
your work has value, and never forget it. And for sure, I won't, my trading warrior brother. Thank you so much for being here today on F.A.C.E. and edifying our community.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, everyone. That's Alex. So we'll see everyone tomorrow. I have Jamie Satley with us. And again, remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone tomorrow. Adios. Thanks again, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.